Shalom and welcome to TGC. In this video, we will speak about England's enormous and overwhelming jihad problem. We will view a few clips, and at the end, we will tie it all together.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about how Keir Starmer and our security services and our Home Office cannot protect you. They are incompetent and they are a risk to our national security. You have most probably seen over the last 24 hours how Keir Starmer is delighted and his team, since coming into power, have worked tirelessly to free a man who not only hates white people, he hates the British, he hates the police, he would like them killed. This is also a man that we will talk about today who was gifted a British citizenship without having to go through all the other processes that everyone else has to do. This is a man who is now back in the UK, and instead of thankful for his freedom and the help from Britain and being gifted his British citizenship, is now working tirelessly to help Palestine Action, a prescribed terrorist group, and to help those on hunger strike and to help free Palestine. Allah Abdul Fattah is a man who was arrested for authorizing political protests in Egypt. But this is a man who years ago who sent out vile, disgusting tweets about the British, about white people, about the police.
Yes, I consider killing any colonialist.
So here, this guy states, Allah Abd el Fattah said, yes, I consider killing any colonialist and especially Zionists. At the end of this video, we will speak about Zionists. We will speak about Zion and Zionism.
And especially Zionists, heroic, we need to kill more of them. Random shooting of white males should convince them racism costs lives. I rejoice when Zionists are killed. Police are not human. They don't have rights. We should just kill them all. Dear international PhD student, by the way, I'm a racist. I don't like white people. So, you got the rest of it there. And this little gem. So the brilliant British dogs and monkeys really think terrorists will reveal their plans on Twitter.
So at the beginning of the video, I said I'm going to talk to you about how Keir Starmer, the Home Office, and our security services cannot protect you, how they are incompetent, how they are easily putting everyone's life at risk. Yes, people will argue that these tweets are from a very long time ago, and that might not be.
Let us go to the next clip.
Just got this constant pattern of anti-white vitriol. Oh, I only hate whites, he tweeted. Also, quote, effing hate white people. They don't understand sharing or community. A blight on the earth they are. Good thing they stopped breeding. Why was it of the utmost priority for our entire political system to bring this man into our country? I can only conclude that they also hate white people, or that they are all so incompetent that they jumped aboard a bandwagon that is now coming back to bite them in the arse, and therefore means that none of them are capable of governing or representing us. They are either willfully endangering the lives of every native British man and woman by bringing such people into our country, or they're so stupid that their incompetence is indistinguishable from malice. In either sense, they're unfit to govern. And a number of Other screenshots. In December 2010, I'm proud of being racist against whites. He said, once again proves humanity will not be redeemed until we commit genocide against all white people. Some of my best friends are white. I'm really glad that you've put that disclosure in parentheses. Otherwise, I would have thought that you wanted to kill me and all my countrymen. I feel so at ease now. He also wrote somewhere else that the mistake of South Africa was not retributive mass violence against innocent white people. So clearly has a post-colonial ethnic grasp.
We'll go to the next clip. And as Connor said, the UK government is willfully putting its native citizens at risk. And like I said, we will tie it all together at the end. Now, this is Brother Raymond Ibrahim, and hear him define jihad, because majority of people think of one jihad, which is jihad of the sword. But jihad comes in many forms. And when we understand this, we can tie it all together and realize that England does have an enormous and overwhelming jihad problem.
So when they do jihad and they say it means to strive or struggle, that makes it all the much worse, because historically the only way you're going to spread Islam was through force and violence. Who's going to accept it? You're not in Europe, for example, when the time came for the jihad to enter there. Europeans fought tooth and nail. I'm sure we'll get into that. But today, of course, you are able to trick people and empower Islam, not through force. So today you can do, there's all these classifications of different kinds of jihad, which is different forms of struggle. And they actually have, I can give you quickly their names in Arabic, jihad al-lisan, jihad of the tongue, jihad al-qalam, jihad of the pen, jihad al-mal, jihad of the money, wiladat al-jihad, or basically the baby jihad. All of these in their own way help empower Islam. So
these are other forms of jihad that I would say that majority of people only know of jihad of the sword, which is fighting and murdering non-Muslims. Now let's look at jihad of the tongue. What is jihad of the tongue? Jihad of the tongue is Muslims who set up tents throughout the streets of London, throughout the streets of England, who preach Islam and call people to Islam. It is known as Dawah. So, is there an overwhelming jihad of the tongue going on in England? Then you have jihad of the pen. What is this? This is any written literature, whether it's books or tracts, that they also hand out at these Dawah stands that we see throughout all of England. Jihad of wealth. That is, if you are unable to participate in any other form of jihad, because there are many forms of jihad, is you donate financially to the cause, or you can give what they will say is you give up some of your precious metals, which is valuable financially, and they can do what they want with that and get money to promote all the other forms of jihad, supporting it. Now, back in the day, when we saw ISIS killing other Muslims, it was because those ISIS Muslims who actually follow the Islamic teachings to the T, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, consider a Muslim who does not participate in any form of jihad, not even of financial aid, which is jihad of the wealth, they are considered hypocrites, worthy of death. But people don't talk about that, do they? Now you have jihad of the babies. It's you know what it is? It's manufacturing an Islamic army. That is exactly what they're doing. They are manufacturing an Islamic army so that when their Mahdi arrives, whether even if they have to crawl over snow, they will follow the Mahdi and fight all non-Muslims. Now, what he didn't mention is jihad of politics. Muslims will go into politics to advance Islamic needs, Islamic teachings, Islamic way of life, introducing laws that will advance Islam. Now, when you have an understanding of all these different forms of jihad, what it comes down to is jihad is anything, any form that advances Islam in any non-Islamic culture, Islamic, non-Islamic country, nation, whatever you want to call it. All jihad is to advance Islamic fundamentals, the Sharia, the takeover of foreign nations, foreign cultures. That is all it is. Anything that advances Islam is a form of jihad. Do you understand it now? Are you getting a grasp of what jihad really is? It's just not jihad of the sword, someone blowing up the underground or buses or doing all the things that they do, right? Southport. So looking at this, are we getting a grasp that England is being overwhelmed with jihad? Right? Let us continue to the next clip. Now, this one I'm playing because I searched Christian arrested for preaching. In England, how many instances have we seen where Christians who are preaching on the street will get reported to the police for Section 5 of the public order? Harassment, alarm, and distress, right? And I would go on the limb and bet majority of the time it's Muslims who make that call, which is to get the police to come and shut up the Christians. Yet at the same time, walk around England, especially the major cities, and you see these Islamic stalls, pop-ups, handing out jihad of the pen and speaking jihad of the tongue, Dawah, to all the people. Now, if I was in London, if I was in England and I saw an Islamic Dawah pop-up and it said Jesus was a Muslim, for one, that is blasphemy. And two, that would give me harassment, alarm, and distress. I would feel all three of those. So anyone who is not a Muslim in England and you see Dawah tents pop up, tents up, and Muslims doing Dawah, why don't you do the same thing they do to you? Why don't you report harassment, alarm, and distress to the police? You show me one Muslim who observes the Sabbath. If Jesus lived his entire life observing the Sabbath, how is it that he was a Muslim? They will practice taqiyya and say, oh, it just means worshiping one God. That's just a play on words. That's their hook to get into you, like if you were fishing and getting you to speak to them, and then they just continue to lie to get you to leave the truth for the lie. Let us hear what Alex has to say here.
But what isn't funny is we currently live in a world where we are seeing active genocides against Christians, where everything that Christianity once represented, the glue that held our society together, the moral structure of our culture has been eroded and has been constantly under attack. And if we now live in a Christian nation where our monarch is the head of the church and a Christian preacher can't go out and preach the Bible to people in his hometown, that to me is much, much more than just having hate crime laws. There's something else going on here.
Well, as it happens.
Okay. I wanted to play this clip out of many we see of Christians being arrested on the street. But she brought up the monarch, who is supposed to be the head of the church. Charles. I refuse to put that title that people put in front of his name because I only have one king. But anyway, she makes a fantastic point. If the monarch, Charles, is the head of the church, yet Christians cannot preach the gospel throughout England, is Charles acting as the head of the church? Why is he not protecting his people when we cannot hear a Christmas speech from him without mentioning the strength of diversity or Islam during Easter? Now, I make the claim because these clips we've gone through, in the last clip with Raymond Ibrahim defining that there are different forms of jihad and we all must understand and know those different forms, that jihad in its purest form is anything that advances Islam. So I ask you, is Charles doing anything to advance Islam into his country over Christians? If so, then he is a jihadist. When Keir Starmer brings in these hateful Egyptians who calls for the death of white people or Zionists, he's bringing in that theology into his land. When Starmer is pushing for Islamophobia law so that you cannot say anything against Islam, he is promoting Islam in your country. Keir Starmer is a jihadist. And let's talk about that woman of a man, the mayor, Khan, of the mayor of London. He too is a jihadist. Keir Starmer, Sadiq Khan, They are performing jihad of politics. They're making laws so that they can shut up and arrest Christians, yet while Muslims can come out of mosques with knives and the police just tell them, go put them back in the mosques. Scream and yell from the river to the sea that fake country will be free. When will the people wake up to what's happening? I will also make the claim, and easily can prove it, the biblical scriptures functionally teach us that Islam is the biblical antichrist beast system. It is the end times biblical antichrist beast system that Messiah Jesus will fight and destroy at his second coming. That army is rising up now. It's only going to get worse. And the only way that England or any Western country can protect themselves is to deport every single Muslim out of their country. I've heard this brother, Connor, say the same thing, that every single Muslim needs to be deported, and I 100% agree with him. Oh, well, how about the peaceful ones? None of them are peaceful. None of them. Not all of them participate in jihad of the sword or the pen or speech or jihad of politics. But check out this last clip. And this is why I don't trust a single Muslim. Listen carefully what Tommy Robinson says from a personal experience. I pretty much agree with everything Tommy Robinson says, except for when he says, oh, there's peaceful Muslims. I don't agree with it. Now, they would say, well, remember in Australia, Bondi Beach, a Muslim stopped a shooter? See, Islam is peaceful. There are good Muslims. Well, I remember when that happened, I was speaking to my wife and I told her, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a Muslim do what this Muslim did. When was the last time a Muslim tried to stop another Muslim from harming anybody, a non-Muslim? And I told her, I cannot think of another time. This is the only time. So to me, he is just one outlier. Yes, it was a good deed, but he is that one outlier. Doesn't mean they're all good. Let's listen to what Tommy says. And I want you to pay attention, because this is what Muslims, all these peaceful Muslims that you say, oh, they can stay, only the extremists can go, can be deported. No, every single one needs to go, because this is what's going to happen when that time arrives, when they flip the switch. Listen to him.
But that was, so I grew up in Luton. I've seen all these problems. And again, I'm going to reiterate again, that doesn't mean, because some of the best lads I know were Muslim lads, at school. But when there's a divide, and I'll explain the story again. When there's a divide, something very different happens with this. I remember being coming out of a nightclub in Luton, and I remember seeing about 6 Muslims beating one man. And it was my ex-wife said, stop them. I remember going in to pull them off him, and then they attack you. And then as it's all going on, a Muslim friend of mine stood on their side against us. And he didn't even know him. And afterwards I spoke to him, and the whole town's going, there's all this chaos going on. It's us and them. The divide, you can think you're friends, it's us and them. When that divide line comes, it's us and them. And that divide, which I never understood again, I'll tell you the moment I understood it.
Tommy here is absolutely 100% correct. When that time comes to divide, you may think they're your friends, you may think they're peaceful Muslims, but when that time comes, they're going to turn on all of you. Guaranteed. A leopard cannot change its spots. They just playing takia. It's all deception. Darkness cannot comprehend the light. Islam is darkness. Islam is the biblical antichrist end times beast system. It's biblical. It's going to happen. We just wait for the Messiah. So I want to touch on one more thing. Before I do that, when I see what's going on in England from Charles the monarchy all the way down to your local councillors, all the people in politics, their actions are all to promote Islam, to advance Islam in a Christian nation. And if anyone speaks out, just a little tweet on X or a Facebook post, and you're not Islamic and you're just speaking up against it, they arrest you. Yet, Islam is running rampant throughout the country. And all those leaders in politics are all jihadis, all of them. The ones who are not Muslim, they are willfully participating in advancing Islam. Are they brought? Have they been paid off? Who knows? But their fruit is to advance Islam in a Christian nation. And Charles is supposed to be the head of that Christian nation and the head of the church. And he does nothing about it. Nothing about it. Because he's not a defender of Christianity, he is a defender of Islam. He is a jihadist. Khan is a jihadist. Shabana Mahmoud is a jihadist. Sadiq Khan is a jihadist. They're all jihadists, and they all have one goal: to destroy the British culture and to destroy Christianity in England. For any country to exist and maintain as a country, it needs three fundamental pillars: borders, language, and culture, and they are attacking all three of them. And there's only one way forward. People need to unite. You have a bunch of Christians in England from many different denominations. You guys need to put your differences to a side and unite and stand as one. Otherwise, you're going to lose your country. Now, as far as Tommy Robinson goes, like I said, I only disagree with him with one thing, and that is that all Muslims, that there are peaceful Muslims. I do not believe that. I believe they will turn on you when that time comes, just as he explained. I don't trust a single one. But the biggest thing I agree with him on is Zionism. He calls himself a Zionist because the Jews have a right to their own land and to defend themselves. And I honestly believe the same. You can call me a Christian Zionist. That's cool. I will define myself as a Christian Zionist. And the way I see the Bible, when I read the Bible, and everything I'm telling you in this video, I've been saying for a long time. You may not know my channel, but you can check out the old videos. I'm saying the same thing I always have. I've just decided to put this together and call out all the jihadists in England. England, you better get those jihadists out of power. Something needs to happen because it's going over the cliff. But I will make the claim here that the Bible, the whole entire Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, is a Zionist book. Bible teaches you what Zionism is. It prophesies of the redemption of Zion and that it will come about. And functionally, the Bible teaches us in the New Testament the same thing. And that Jesus is the world's ultimate Zionist. So when I see Christians not supporting Israel and Zionism, I understand why, because they don't read their Bibles. They listen to videos and they agree with something they hear. But when Jesus returns, and it's prophesied throughout the Bible, he will come at his second coming, fight and destroy Islam, and establish Zionism. And all who believe on him will be grafted into Zion. Functionally, that's what the Bible teaches. It may not say it in those words, but when you understand the Bible, you understand its message, it's easy to piece it together. It's easy to show. So I see nothing wrong with Tommy Robinson and the thing he says. He's been right about everything. The grooming gangs, the cover up, and if all those who help cover up the dirty, wicked, dark, false religion of Islam during those grooming gangs, they were supporting and advancing Islam. Thus, they participated in jihad. I will stop there. I thank you for listening. May the one true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob comfort you and bless you. Shalom.